Hey, I want to share something with y'all. It's a thought. I don't know what this is. Anyway, I want to say something. My glasses are still here. I just got back from college. I went to college. I went into the college. I meant to take a camera, but I didn't take a camera. Next time I should have took a camera. I did some sketching, and so it was great. It was great. I was in college, in the studios, and it's beautiful. And I was sketching, and before I sketched, I took a bath, and before I did that, I had a thought. I guess water, but I took a bath, and I wanna do a little vlog about water, and I wanna do. I had my sketch. I do have a sketch that I did, but I want to do something. You know, sometimes we talk about getting tired, but it's not just that. You know, when you get to a certain level and you say, you know, like with me, I just got to a certain level, and it's not that I lost faith. It's that, you know, sometimes you gotta just say, hey, you know, it's okay. I'm a little tired. You know, I'm human. You know, I've been roasting. I've been getting busy. I've been getting funky with it. You know, I've been handling my business. I've been handling my business. You know, and so you know, you get to those point where it's just like, okay, I can't do no more. I mean, sometimes I wonder. I said, how much can a brain really take? How much can you really learn? And then I was on I forgot his name, Kim Peek, I think it is now. Now it comes to me, Kim Peek, right? The guy Rainmaker Man, right? And this guy has he's autistic, a form of autism, and I used to say, well, I'm an artist, I'm artistic, and they would say, oh, you autistic? No, I'm like, I'm artistic, not autistic. You know, you an artist? You know, I'm an artist, not autist. Oh, you an artist? Are you an artist? Oh, he's an artist. I'm not an artist. I'm an artist. Anyway, so this guy, he just can take up all this information in his brain, which is just amazing. It's just almost infinite. And so I think that's very significant, that if you take out like certain interpretations or the limitation of interpretation in your brain, that he can literally read 2 pages of a book at the same time. He can read 2 pages of a book at the same time, and with each eye in 10 seconds. I mean, this guy is amazing. So my let's say fear, okay? My fear, and I'm a person that says I have no fears, you know, when it comes to this stuff. But that would not be true. It's not. I don't know if it's really fear, but it's actually just like, you know, I might think about the logistics. I also say, like, I'm a logical person, and I say, like, a lot of times the logistics of something I will consider and weigh the options and the risk involved, and it may not compute to the most likely and favorable outcome. So it's like, it's a risk. You know, I do believe in calculated risk and things of that sort. and and some of it is just guesswork. But it's like, to jump off into faith and say, I'm just going to do something, and is a little difficult. I think that some of the reason why I do stuff is out of necessity. It's like there's no other way. There's no other way. It's like, certain situations. It's like, well, I gotta go for it, because I was in a job one time, and I just can't see myself not trying. I don't think I can deal with the fact of saying I didn't try. I think, to me, that's worse failure than actually trying and failing. So anyway, I think about taking that step of faith, that leap of faith, and I also thought about Peter, who stepped out on a boat to follow Christ, and that's pretty amazing. But I understand that God was already out there. And so I want to relate a couple of scriptures. I want to relate a couple of scriptures to water and Christ and God and who He is. Okay? And so the first one I want to relate to, I don't have the actual scriptures, maybe I'll post it. The first one is, I want to premise it by saying God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. The Old Testament doesn't cancel out the New Testament. All the same thing is there. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, now that you got Jesus, you can throw away the Old Testament. It doesn't say that. Basically, Jesus gave 2 testaments. He said, love God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. And the second one, love your neighbor as you would yourself. What it is just a really is really a condensing of the two parts of the Bible. I think in the first part is, what you're going to do is do all those things. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. You're going to try to do all those things on the first one, with love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. On the second one, you're going to be like Jesus and love your neighbor as yourself, to the point where you were willing to die for them. Okay, but anyway, so that's but in the New Testament, there was a part where the Old Testament, if you go back into Genesis, in the beginning there was God, and the Spirit, I don't have the exact phrase, but the Spirit of God moved across the face of the water. That's God. Okay? Now, Jesus is God, God the Father, God the Son, they're all the same. Now, if you go back to Jesus and Peter and Jesus walking on the water, this is walking on water, and the Spirit of God moving across the face of the water is very much like the Son acting like the Father. Okay? It's very much the same thing, the Spirit of God. So it makes absolutely logical sense to me that these are two. The apple don't fall too far from the tree, as they say. So these are very much two of the same thing. Jesus walking on water, it's like, well, what else could you expect from God? It said in the beginning that the Spirit of God moved across the face of the water. So that's what we have here. And so either you have to be the most profound continuity genius ever known to man, or you just got to be talking about God to be able to think of something like that. Now, they say there's a lot of contradictions in the Bible, but when I see that, I see only the Word sharpening the Word, only the Word testifying the Word. I believe that man's science and knowledge is finite and imperfect. And I believe the Bible is perfect. And God's wisdom is perfect. And I don't think that you can take something imperfect and measure something that is absolutely infinitely perfect. And to me, that is infinitely perfect. You know, and so I think when you come to the Bible, you can only use the Bible to test the Bible. So the thing about it is, I was saying, is that when he walked on the water and Peter walked on the water with him, he was literally walking on water. So here was his faith. He had the faith to actually walk on water. But what we do, and what I relate to in my situation right now, I can relate to it, and maybe some other people can as well, is you get through all of this, you win battles and stuff like that. You know, like David, you know, he was out in the wilderness, he had beat a sheep, he had beat a bear, you know, he had beat all these things. But his real enemy and his real test was this Goliath, you know. And he could have cowered down, but he didn't. But oftentimes we're like Peter. We get in the water, we're standing on the water, we're way up, and then we look down. And so we start to sink. We're like, what am I doing way up here? How did I manage to get up here? Well, I know how I got up here, but dang, you know, am I supposed to keep doing this? Wait, is this really happening? You know, so a part of having your dreams come true is like when you get there, and this is what happens to me a lot, is when I get there. You know, when I was in New York, I left for New York, I had a garbage bag and maybe $200 at the most. A garbage bag of clothes, and I stayed in the City Mission in Brooklyn, Bedford-Stuyvesant. I went down there, and it was the most traumatic experience of my life. My sister said, get out of there. She was there. She said, come, you got to come and stay with me. So I stayed with her boyfriends at the time. And so it's really amazing to me that you know, sometimes it's like, you know, okay, when I was in New York, I made it to a certain level. You know, I mean, it's different. You know, when you're an artist, it's a little different. That's all I'm saying. When you create your future, you know, when you create, it's like, you know, like, do you ever wonder, like, what would have happened if he didn't sink? You know, when he didn't sink, you know, and a lot of people talk about Peter, and they say, well, Jesus seems a little hard on Peter. I mean, you know, we want to be thanked for just walking on the water. And, well, I walked a little bit. But, you know, but Jesus don't think that. He's like, ye of little faith. You know, why are you sinking now? Why are you sinking? Oh, ye of little faith. He didn't congratulate Peter for that, you know? I mean, it's just, you know, I wonder what would happen. I'd like to see that if he just, you know, in my own life, if instead of looking around and just sinking, if I say, my future is in front of me, Jesus in front of me, I'm just going to keep walking towards him, you know, and see what happens, see where he leads me, you know. So, anyway, God bless you all. I started this video off slow, but I'll talk to you soon.